Hello, good evening, and welcome to Final Boss Fight. My name is Jeff, and tonight we return to our Call of Cthulhu campaign, Horror on the Orient Express. With me are our usual team of hardy investigators. We have Steamed Chew.
Hello.
Sarah J. Sarah, say hello, Sarah. Sarah?
Say hello, Sarah.
We have One Winged Angel.
Hello.
And Richard, the Dark Lord Richard.
Hello.
And Brian Croy Dragon.
Hello.
And we return to the 14th of January 1923. Our team of investigators has been tasked by their very good friend Professor Smith with finding and destroying the pieces of an ancient occult artifact known as the Sedefkar Simulacrum. After some initial researches in London and some interesting events there, for more details go back and watch the episodes, our investigators boarded the train for Paris, along the way reading a diary from 1893 written by Professor Smith. It was an account, a strange account of blood-sucking fezzes, of ancient rituals, of madness on the train. How much of it you believe or accept to be true, that's entirely up to you. Seems pretty far-fetched to me. Fezzes obviously don't eat people's brains. But eventually you arrive in Paris and the time is... What is the time? The time is 10:30, 10:33 as the train rolls into the Gare du Nord in Paris. And just to remind you, you received some notes about the Sedefkar Simulacrum. Just to read you the first couple of paragraphs. The Sedefkar Simulacrum is an occult artifact of evil power. It was taken apart and scattered across Europe at the end of the 18th century. Retrieve the pieces and destroy it. The statue was dismembered in Paris just prior to the French Revolution. Part of it may still be in France. The owner was a noble, Comte Fenalik. So the first order of business, as you step down from the train and night has fallen, this is the middle of winter. Where do you want to stay? What hotel would you like to stay in? I will move us to the map of Paris. So there are several options, as you can see on the screen. The Bristol Hotel, the Hotel du Rhin, the Balmoral Hotel, all very good quality restaurants, good quality hotels with very good quality restaurants. Where would you like to stay for your first night in Paris? Also, welcome to Paris, everybody. Welcome to the City of Lights.
It's very nice.
Mm-hmm.
The hotel, the Invalid, is that an actual hotel? Because I know
No,
it's not.
that's a hospital. That's a hospital.
Yes,
that
because
was
that's
a hospital.
down. Yeah, where the soldiers would get treated, wasn't it?
Yeah, the military hospital. That is, yeah.
Yeah, but they just put hotel on to confuse us. What was the most French-sounding hotel? Because there was
That'd be this
Balmoral.
This one here, the Hotel du Rhin. Du Rhin? I think that's Rhin.
It's a nice one, is it?
It is.
Just a question, but the Opera Nationale de Paris, is that the
Paris? Yeah, that's the
where the Phantom of the Opera is set?
I believe that's where the Phantom of the Opera is. But I'm not too sure about that one. Yeah, if you want to stay down, the Hotel du Rhin is as good a one as any. So your luggage, you retrieve your luggage from the train, you hail a taxi, and you make your way to the hotel. The next morning, what do you do? What would your morning routine be? You're in Paris for the first time. What would you do in the morning? Would you go to the restaurant? Would you go out and try and find a cafe? Sit along the streets watching people go past? What would you do?
Edward would probably... oh god, what's even on this map?
You don't stick to what's on the map, just like, if you want to find a cafe, just say, like to find a cafe somewhere.
Con goes. Not Con. Sorry, Edward. Con's a different character. Edward is, looking around, visiting Notre Dame.
Okay.
Half expecting to see Lon Chaney as Quasimodo, climbing about it.
So, sorry, Richard, you're about to say something?
Oh, I was going to say, Mercy would probably have something to eat in the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Probably accidentally insult some French people just because of his Englishness, like, and not understanding things and being too proud. But yes, we'll have breakfast, and then I think he'd very much want to get on with the job at hand. I'd imagine he's been to Paris before.
Okay.
Just he's rich and English, and
Mhm.
being in the army, and so he's not going to be terribly impressed. Well, not impressed, but he's seen the Eiffel Tower, he's seen these things. So yeah, he'd want to be making some inquiries.
Okay. So, with the knowledge, with what you have and what you've learned in London, the best place would be the Bibliothèque Nationale, the National Library. That'd be the. And if I remember rightly, in a previous session, you said Major Mercy, you would have inquired about securing tickets or securing passes to visit the library before you came here. Is that correct? You're interested in going to the French embassy to sort out passes and sort out letters of introduction to the library.
Yes, that sounds like the sort of thing he would do. Yes, so I would have made some inquiries using whatever connections that I have, and yes, trying to get access to places that perhaps members of the public wouldn't be let in.
Okay, so who would like to go with Major Mercy to the Bibliothèque Nationale?
I'll go.
Okay. And Maya have that.
Absolutely wants to go.
Is that a yes? I think you're a bit far away from the microphone again, Sarah.
No, Nancy absolutely wants to go, and since she speaks pretty decent French, she'd be a bit of an asset.
Okay, so is that you're
Can I
going
say Roland is French?
Oh yeah, that's even more of an asset.
for being in Paris and doing research in Paris? That's a good thing.
Yeah.
So who else is going to the Bibliothèque Nationale?
And I suppose I better go to sort of help.
Yeah.
As it sort of playing it, Roland in this sort of city. He's probably been there before many years ago.
I can imagine he's got like a bit of like national pride, like saying this is my city. You're in my, this is my city now.
Yeah, you're in my one now. Yeah. Compared to England.
Yeah.
Isn't there a thing of like you get a bit of this in England and London where it's like everyone in England hates Londoners and the Londoners hate everyone. I mean there's something where it's like the rest of France looks down on Paris and Paris looks down on the rest of France.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah.
I just say this from my personal experience. Whenever you go to Paris, you try speaking to them in French. The moment you open your mouth, they clock you as English. The second you appear before them, you're about to like speak in French, and they just clock you as English and just start speaking to you in English. Like, please let me speak French. I know some French. Let me speak to you in French. No English, only English.
Well, I was French exempt in elementary school, so that wouldn't be the case for me.
Let's see. Who else are we? Sorry, carry on.
Do we have any other like investigative routes to go down other than going to the library and trying to find?
The library is your first step. Other branches may appear from there, but the library is your logical first step to investigating.
Are we all gonna go? I don't know. Often we split ourselves up, but if there's no need,
I mean, if everybody can read something, or at least take a book each to research, it might be done quicker. But
Just arrange you in a nice little circle here, so I can move you. Okay, so you all hail a cab that's enough to fit all of you, and you make your way the rather short distance, actually, according to this, to the Bibliothèque Nationale, and it's a grand building. It's one of the greatest, by reputation, you know, it is the greatest library in the world, apart from the British Museum Reading Room.
Yeah.
As you enter
That's,
this like grand domed edifice, columns. There's a desk at the front, and there's a well-dressed official on the desk. He says, "Ah, oui, bonjour, messieurs, mesdames. Pouvez-vous m'aider?" And he sees your English and immediately goes, "How can I help you?" You don't even need to open your mouth. He just instantly sees your English. How may I help you this morning?
I'd spoken to the British Embassy about us having some access to going through some books and records. It's Major Sebastian Mercy.
Oui, d'accord. Un moment, please. And he looks through his records. Major Mercy, could you make me a luck roll, please?
Ooh. Look.
And he comes up. Oui, I have your passes here. And he says, Major Mercy, Roland Billiot, Edward Beatty, Nancy Sutherland, Maya have that. Here they are, yes. I just explained to you how things work here. We are a reference library. If there is a book you wish to study or wish to see, please fill out one of these application forms. He hands you a whole stack of application forms. And you look at them, it's like name of book, subject, time checked out, that sort of thing. Please fill out one of these forms, pass it to one of our staff, and we will find it for you. We do not allow books to be taken from the library, and we are closed at about 6 p.m. and we are not open at the weekends. Do any of you speak French?
Bonjour.
Buongiorno.
Oui, en
Yeah,
français.
That's Italian.
Bonjour. Je m'appelle Edward.
Bon.
Excuse.
Bon. In that case, you should have no problem. Otherwise, we would have provided you with one of our students to help you. But I see you are fine with that yourself. Please go in and begin your research. So just to show you how this works now, this is people speaking. How this works. Before I did a bit wrong by doing it in chunks, like doing the whole 2 days and then somebody else. So we're going to take this day by day. Each day, you do not have to come back here. You can choose what you want to do each day. You can either come to the library to do some research. You can go sightseeing somewhere else. It's Paris. It's a very beautiful city. The whole city is open for you to go sightseeing. The Louvre is very good. The catacombs are amazing. Catacombs only open at weekends. But yeah, so each day you can decide what you want to do, and if somebody wants to do something different, that's fine. But the first day, you go into the library, and I have a picture of this. I do have a picture of this. Where is my picture of this? Not that one, this one. So you go through some passages, and you enter this grand room with domes on the top. There's desks everywhere. It kind of reminds those of you who are in the British Museum Reading Room. It kind of reminds you of that, but it's more grandiose. So, the first day, you'll probably spend gathering research materials together, finding out what books you need. So, as you sit down and begin looking through books, looking through index cards, could everybody make me a library use roll? And I'll ask that for everybody. And don't forget, now that we're back with our main characters, you are allowed to tick off the skills for improvement at the end.
Damn it.
Okay. This is no auspicious start. Oh, okay. We have library use rolls from Roland and from...
There we go. Sorry.
I'll take your first one. And from Roland. And Roland, can you give me a library use roll?
Yep.
Okay.
Right, library, is it?
Yep.
Let me find it. Library use, yep.
Yep. Ooh, very nearly. So I'm going to say, because you've got the regular success and extreme success, you looked through the books. I should have asked this before. Do you have any particular subjects you're researching?
This Fenalik fellow.
Okay. So you're looking through like mentions for Fenalik, and you do find something. This is more like laying the groundwork. You do find some books that might be useful to you. A number of court histories, early, like late 18th century, prior to the Revolution. Mentions of a scandal involving the Queen and a man of minor nobility. So the first day passes. Each one of these library roles represents 1 day. So you've spent 1 day in the library so far. You think you've gathered together a lot of material to be able to, begin your research into this Fenalik person.
That's brilliant. I'll be working on that.
As you return,
yeah. Sorry, go on, Jeff.
No, you go first. You go first.
No, it doesn't matter if we're doing it on a separate day. That's fine.
Yeah. So I would say, and as you return, you feel like you haven't found anything concrete, but as I say, you've got some good groundwork. You've you filled out your application forms of the books that you want. The library will process those, have them ready for you when you need them, when you come back here. As you go back to your hotel, you see lots of young people on the streets. They appear to be protesting.
Well, it is Paris.
Mm-hmm. In particular, they're protesting. I don't know what they're protesting here. What are you protesting? They're protesting the French occupation of the Ruhr. Remember, this is after the First World War, and French troops are massing on the Ruhr to make sure that the Germans keep to the terms that they agreed in the Treaty of Versailles, which was actually signed in a carriage of the Orient Express. If you didn't know that.
I knew it was a train. I didn't.
It was a dining carriage of the Orient Express that the treaty was signed in. Yep. Then later on this is a slight tangent, but in World War II, Hitler forced the French to surrender in the same carriage. And then when it became apparent that Germany would lose, he had the carriage destroyed so that he couldn't surrender it himself. Anyway.
Yeah, he saw what was coming there, didn't he?
Yeah. Anyway, as you return to your hotel, you see all these students, and they're starting to protest. You see some placards. You see police, some of the army trying to keep the peace. It's just protest. It's like protests are starting to get a bit boisterous. And that was the 15th of January. The 16th of January dawns. Would you like to return to the library, or would you like to do something different? And don't forget,
I would probably return to the library. And she's going to kind of call one of the clerks to get her to help out because she doesn't speak French.
Okay. Anybody else?
And she's going to look.
Edward will also be going back to the library.
Okay. And
I had a good first day at the library, and I don't have a terribly great library score, so I might go somewhere else.
Okay. Don't forget to tick off your library use, by the way, if you've passed it.
Oh God, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I've not done that either.
Yeah.
I would like to go to the British Embassy.
Okay. I don't actually know where the British Embassy is here, but we'll say you go to the British Embassy. I'll just say it's somewhere down here.
Yeah.
So Major Mercy goes to the British Embassy. Nancy, what would you be doing today?
I'm going back to the library again.
You're going back to the library. Roland?
I mean, depending on whether or not they need help at the library. If not, you might just do some exploring and get some supplies and things that you can't get sort of in the Alps. Things that may be a little bit more.
It's up to you if you feel like you'd be best.
To get.
if you feel like you want to like do some like sightseeing or do some shopping, that's up to you.
Yeah, let him do that for a day.
Okay. So I'll park you up on the Avenue Champs-Élysées. I'm going to start with the three at the library. So as you are ushered back into the reading room, and the books that you've requested are there stacked on the table. Maya, you had a particular objective in mind, didn't you?
So Maya was going to look for like stories of like artifacts that have been destroyed, or like even among like history books that have been destroyed in France and in Paris. Like even amongst like fiction books, just in case there's something in there too.
Okay. And you're speaking to one of the clerks. You're speaking to one of the staff about this, aren't you?
Yeah.
You don't think you need to particularly make a roll for this? Oui, madame. There were some regrettable losses of priceless manuscripts and history books, many religious texts around the time of the Revolution. Many fiction. I believe Robespierre wanted to promote his Festival of the Divine Being, and a lot of texts that were deemed not appropriate for the people were taken and destroyed. Is there something you had particularly in mind, mademoiselle?
Yes. Something called I'm looking for something about the...
Oh, you muffled again. You're very muffled there, Robin. I couldn't make that out.
I am mumbling a bit as well, sorry. Yes, I'm looking for something called the I can't even say it.
The Sedefkar Simulacrum?
Aye, that one.
The name is not familiar to me. However, I do recall a reference to a manuscript called the La Simulare del Diablo, the Devil's Simulare. Just one moment, please. And he goes away, looks through some papers and comes back to us. Yes, this may be what you are interested in. And he hands you a piece of paper. It's in French, but he translates it for you. The Devil's Simulare.
Can you write it down for me in English?
He'll write this translation down for you as well. So if you want to make notes, yep. So the Devil's La Simulare del Diablo, or the Devil's Simulare, is an illuminated Latin manuscript written by an anonymous Cistercian monk around 1260, around the time of the Fourth Crusade. It was bound as a book in Venice in 1505. It was denounced as the work of a mad cleric. The only known copy was kept in the church of San Maria Celeste in Venice.
San
Maria Celeste. In Venice. And that is the only reference we have to which may relate to what you're referring to. Is that sufficient, mademoiselle?
Yes, and you'll pocket the translation.
Mm-hmm.
To have a proper read of later.
Okay. Returning to Nancy and Edward, as you begin reading through the reference books you've accumulated, can you make me a library use roll? And I require an extreme success. That's a regular success. That's not enough, I'm afraid. If you want to spend luck on it, you would have to spend 26 points. Well, that's 26 points of luck to make that into an extreme success. Edward, you make me a library use roll. You need an extreme success.
Yeah.
Another regular success. So you don't find what you're looking for particularly, but you do narrow down your search. You feel like you find some you discarding books that aren't related to it, and you feel like you're narrowing it down to like 2 or 3 books, but you don't find anything particularly today. So that's your day at the library. I'm gonna go to Roland. Roland, do you go down? Are you just like wandering aimlessly, or are you familiar enough to know where the shops are, where the main shopping areas are in this city?
Yeah, I would say so. I'm gonna the 2 things I'm looking for in particular are sort of like smoke/cigars, which I know which would be like an expensive import to the Alps, and sort of like seasoning and stuff like that for like butchering.
Okay. Make me a luck roll, please. That's the one at the top of the sheet.
Look. There we go.
Ooh,
Failure.
right, almost a critical failure. So with that, I'm going to say the only cigars you find are very, very, very expensive, like more than you can afford. However, you do find some basic seasoning like salt, pepper, something like parsley, maybe just like basic stuff, nothing particularly fancy.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to, and that's what you can afford with your spending limit.
Yeah.
Major Mercy.
Yes. So I want to go to the British Embassy and speak to like the ambassador or to like a cultural attaché. That would probably work as well.
I think with your credentials, you would go straight to the ambassador, probably.
Okay. And I'm going to say, basically, I'm here in Paris researching something not part of strictly army business, but something it is very important. And I'm looking for sort of experts in the city on French history, French antiquities, that sort of thing. And I was hoping you'd be able to point me in the direction of an appropriate expert who would be amenable to helping.
French history, you say? Well, if it's history interesting, any particular period of history? Because history is quite a broad subject, my boy.
French Revolution, and subsequent, I suppose.
Well, my first recommendation would be the Bibliothèque Nationale, but I take it I've tried there already. I would suggest the Louvre has some may have some interesting documents about the French Revolution. Interesting artwork there, some historical importance there. Maybe I've heard the catacombs offer unique insights, although they'll be open this weekend. As to experts, maybe someone at the Louvre may be able to help you, point you in the right direction.
I see. I shall certainly try that. Thank you for your help, Ambassador.
And I'm going to say for you, it's only about midday.
Okay.
So you have the afternoon to play.
Head to the Louvre.
Okay, so you go to the Louvre, and I have some photos of this, holiday photos of this.
Hmm.
The Louvre is an old palace for the kings of France when they were staying in the city, situated in the Tuileries Gardens, and now it has been converted into an art gallery. Even in the 1920s, it was converted into an art gallery. The old palace still remains, so you walk down endless corridors. You see various masters along the side. Da Vinci, the famous Mona Lisa is there. You see there's a picture of Jean-Paul Marat after he was assassinated during the French Revolution. You see the famous statue. I can't remember the name of it. It's the one with wings and no arms and no head. Very magnificent. It's crowded. It's very popular. It's the sort of place that people come to. It's one of the main attractions of Paris. And after a while, you find yourself in a side chamber, and this side chamber has lots and lots of pictures dating from the 18th century, specifically from the royal collection just prior to the revolution.
Ah.
You see portraits of King Louis XVI, of his bride, Queen Marie Antoinette, with her fabulous wigs in unbelievable hairdos. You see a picture of the son of King Louis XVI and Queen Marie Antoinette, the so-called Dauphin, who sadly died of consumption at the age of 7. And people around you, but as like crowds like ebb and flow, they leave the room, and for a few moments, you are alone in the room.
I would try and get a closer look at some of these pictures.
You hear a low laugh. Hildemage.
Oh, I thought that was. I didn't realize that was you. I thought that was one of the other players. Sorry.
Hildemage pour les garçons.
I'm sorry. I don't speak very much French. I'm English.
Who are you speaking to?
Is there no one? There's literally no one else in the room, but I can hear this voice.
There's no one else in the room. But you hear this. You hear this low voice. Hildemage.
Hello. Bonjour.
And even though you don't speak French, somehow the voice speaks again, and you understand English. Such a pity about the boy.
The Dauphin. Creeping me out a bit, but I'll go to the picture of the Dauphin and have a look at that. He died, didn't he?
You hear the low laughter, and you turn around, and there's a picture in one corner, a portrait in one corner, not in shadow but out of the light, and it seems to be coming from there.
I don't know if they'd let me bring my gun into the Louvre. Bloody shouldn't. But if they have, my hand's just gonna rest on that, and I'll make my way to this painting.
Okay, I can show you the painting actually. So I can show you the painting. Where did I put the painting? I'm looking at the wrong screen. That's why. It is a portrait. The placard on it is an unknown noble by an unknown artist, and this is the portrait.
Oh, that's not creepy and sinister.
Should I presume this is you, Monsieur, from your diabolical laughter?
No, there's no response, but the eyes seem to, even though it paint on canvas, the eyes seem to burn into your eyes. You find it hard to look away. I need you to make me a power roll.
Oh, now I've done this before against this guy.
Have you?
I beat him the last time. Yeah, in the game when we were in the like he tried to stare us down and I rolled like a 1 or something.
Well,
so
you
should have.
Make me a power roll, and I require a hard success from you.
Okay.
It's not a hard success.
What would I need to spend to make that a hard success?
Hard success would be half of that, so you'd only need to spend 2 luck. If you wish to spend
how much?
2 luck. Two luck. 2 luck, yeah.
Oh, I will absolutely spend 2 luck to keep it by. Sorry, I pressed the wrong thing there. So I've spent 2 luck.
So you're looking now 42.
Yep. And do I outstare him?
You manage to tear your gaze away from his gaze as he burns into you, but as you do so, it looks like his mouth kind of like twitches into a sneer, then it's gone again. I need you to make me a sanity roll.
Trying to work out how we can steal this painting. Yeah.
Nice. That I'm going to say, yeah, you don't lose any sanity for that. But and you feel a tap on and you feel like a hand on your shoulder. You turn around, and it's the museum attendant. He says, "Monsieur, we close now. The museum closed. The museum is closed." And you look at your watch, and it's 6 o'clock in the evening. Where did that time go?
I'm just going to ignore what the attendant said, right, and just say, this painting, it's an unknown person in the painting.
Oui, monsieur. It is an unknown noble dating from about 1789. We do not know who the figure is. It is remarkably exquisite, is it not? Exquisite execution, and the figure himself so striking, so austere, almost as if he's looking straight out of the painting into you.
Is there someone who would be the expert on the paintings in this room, particularly this painting, or someone who manages this collection?
Oui, I can find the head archivist. He would probably know more than anybody else about this collection.
And I would obviously you're closing, so I shall come back tomorrow. But if I could get to speak to him, that would be wonderful. And I'm gonna tip him. I'm gonna give him some money in a discreet way.
Oui, d'accord. Oui. Very good, monsieur. I shall have him, and the money like disappears as soon as you put it into his hand. The money just disappears straight away. I will see to it myself.
Okay, it's Major Sebastian Mercy.
Oui, monsieur. Major Messi. Oui, monsieur.
Messi. And I shall leave promptly.
Oh. As I say, it is now getting on to like 6 o'clock in the evening. You literally have no idea where that time went when you entered the room. When you entered it, it's probably more like 2:30 or 2 o'clock, 2:30, and now it's suddenly 6 o'clock. Where's that time gone?
Very troubling.
But do you make your way back to the hotel to meet with the others?
Yes.
Very well. You all regroup at your hotel, the Hotel du Rhin, and evening papers people are on the street corner shouting evening paper, selling evening papers. Would you take one, or would you not?
I mean, it's a silly question. They're in French, aren't they?
They are in French, yes.
Yeah. I suppose I'll get one just to.
I can ask the same question to everybody else. Would you be the sort of people who would like to take evening newspapers on your way back?
No.
Would say yes for me.
Okay.
So,
Say.
as well.
Yeah.
Just
Scouting out potential heists.
So Roland, I'm going to give it to you. The headline on the paper in stark writing: French troops fire on demonstrators, kill 17-year-old boy. It seems the protests in Paris have suddenly taken a violent turn.
Really is a violent turn as well.
Mm-hmm. So it'd be worth watching your step over the next couple of days because things may escalate.
Yeah. Might be worth sticking to some streets over others.
With that, Wednesday, the 17th of January, ask the same question again. What would you like to do today?
Nancy's going back to the library. She's got a good feeling about it today.
Okay, yep.
I will tell everyone about what happened the day before with at the Louvre, and say I am going to go back and speak to the archivist, hopefully. So if someone who could speak French, that could be helpful.
I'm happy to come along.
A French person's even better because they might like you more.
Yeah.
So, Maya will volunteer to along there as well.
Okay, so that's Sebastian Mercy, Roland Billiot, and Maya to the Louvre, and Edward. Brian?
Yeah.
Where are you today? Where are you going today?
Probably to the opera.
So you're going to the opera to any particular reason for any objective of the opera, or just to like have a day off?
Just to generally look around. Edward reads, so he's probably interested in the place the founder of the opera is set at.
Okay. So everybody happy with that? So Edward to the opera, Nancy to the library, and the three of you to the Louvre. Everybody happy with that?
Yep.
Nancy, you return to your seat and you pick up the couple of books that seemed very promising yesterday. Could you make me a library use roll? And I require a hard success this time, not an extreme, a hard success. Nancy, why didn't you roll this the day before?
I know, right?
You find almost immediately, like you pick up the book, you open it, and you instantly find a diary. It's a diary. The writer is named Mademoiselle de Brienne, and a lot of it is about court intrigue, petty court politics, that sort of thing. But something does catch your eye. I'm just going to show you this handout if you would like to read it out, please.
The Comte was like a sun amongst us, shedding his light and making us all rejoice in his pleasures. His feasts are said to be the most lavish and lavish yet seen in our city. It was then it became apparent that much evil was afoot, and the Queen became angered. The King's men did raid the house, and much was destroyed, and the Comte was arrested.
So you found the first solid clue about Fenalik from this diary. It seems that he fell foul of the King's men of the army, so maybe worth researching army records around that time.
Yep, and I've got a rough date to go from, so yeah, that's where I'm going for next. Would that still be in the same library, or would I need to go elsewhere for that?
Interesting question. You spend the day probably searching through the records here, but you don't find any sort of like military records. You ask one of the staff, and they say, oui, mademoiselle. Military records will be held at the Bibliothèque d'Arsenal, which is location 2 on the map down here. And they will probably have the records that you're searching for.
I'm going to take a note, sort of copying the date and who it was and where they were and everything.
Of course. Brilliant. I'm going to go to Edward next. Edward, you're at the Opera Nationale. As luck would have it, they are in rehearsals, and the public is allowed to view the rehearsals. So would you go in and watch their rehearsals?
Yes.
It's a rehearsal for Aida.
I've actually seen that opera.
And it's quite interesting. The famous opera singer, what's her name? I had the name on the tip of my tongue right then, and it wasn't there anymore. Caterina Cavallaro is at the rehearsals. You would definitely have heard of this person. She's the most one of the most famous Italian opera singers, famed for the Aida opera. It seems that she is on a tour. She'll be coming here. She'll be here for a few nights, and then she'll be carrying on down to Milan to the Teatro di Scala. I had Teatro di Scala there for the performance there of Aida. And it's a very pleasant day. Obviously, it's not as polished as the full performance would be, but still very enjoyable. It's still like, hearing this famous singer who you've only heard about by reputation or on recordings. Hearing her live is quite the experience. You pass a very pleasant afternoon there. Would you like to try to meet Caterina Cavallaro?
Yes.
You wait until the rehearsals are finished, and coming out, and you see her like coming out of the dressing room. And goes, "Oh, buongiorno. Were you here for the rehearsal? Are you a fan of the opera? Are you a fan of the opera, signore?"
Yes, indeed. It was very splendid to hear you.
Grazie, signore. Grazie. I would. Unfortunately, the seats here are booked up for the next few nights. However, I am singing in Milan in a few days' time. If you are there, it'd be amazing to see. It'd be great to see you. I hope to see you there. And she like signs an autograph for you or whatever you wanted to sign.
Thank you, madam. If I get the chance, I will come and see you.
Grazie. Excuse me, please. Excuse me. I must return my chaperone. Is that how you say it? It gets very nervous if I'm not there, and she she turns and leaves. But you feel like you feel like it wasn't like one of those rush meetings. That she genuinely was like pleased to see you, pleased to hear of your interest, and she genuinely would like to see you at the opera in Milan, which is also one of the stops on the train. Hint, hint. Not that becomes important at all. At the Louvre, Major Mercy, Roland, and Maya have that.
Now I'm going to have a very serious conversation with Maya. Maya, if you try and steal anything, unless under the very specific circumstances that is crucial for our work, I will turn you in to the authorities. This is a beautiful museum full of art for the world, not for you to steal. Do you understand?
My dear sir, I am offended that you'd think such a foul thought of me. A whistle. My behaviour shall be perfect.
That's good to hear.
She says, eyeing up some nobleman's pockets.
And sorry, carry on. Were you about to say something?
Oh, I was
No,
just
I
going
was
to say.
done.
I was just going to say. I asked for this. The attendant, was it Messi?
Oui, Monsieur Messi. One moment, please. Who shall I say would like to see him?
Major Mercy.
Major Messi, of course. Yes, Monsieur Messi will. If you wait here, Monsieur Messi will be with you shortly. And he takes you into a waiting room. It's like not a public area. This is like a private area for visitors, like official visitors.
Ooh.
And he takes you into this waiting room, and you wait there for a few minutes. And there's some magnificent paintings. Even here, there's some magnificent paintings around. And you wait there for a few moments. What about your companions? How are they feeling? This is probably the first time they've been as well. Are you looking how are you feeling on being at the Louvre?
Maya's immediately just looking around the security measures that are in place.
Robin, you've gone very quiet for me again. I don't know if that's.
I'm going to try and mess around with my microphone. It's obviously not made that much difference.
I think you're very muffled, Robin.
Bill.
No, that's better. I think it's when you when you lean back from the microphone.
Yeah, I said Maya is immediately just kind of trying to look for any security measures that could be in place.
Okay.
Just in case.
that makes sense. Yeah, you see like a lot of security guards around the place. You see various heavy-duty locks on the doors, that sort of thing. Roland, what about you?
I mean, I'm just there to help translate.
Okay.
I suppose.
You're not moved at all by the magnificent artwork around you.
Oh yeah, interested in that. I mean, obviously, that was
Okay.
where everyone was in the British Museum, so definitely looking at. Although I must say, I have seen the Mona Lisa in real life, and I was not impressed.
Really good
Um,
point, I
Not
agree.
not gonna lie, I agree. It didn't help
Yeah.
that it didn't
I
help that
was
the
much more-
crowd. It didn't help that there are crowds in front of it.
Tell you what interested me much more on the wall opposite to that, covering the whole wall,
Yeah.
was about a 10-foot by 20-foot painting.
The piece, I think
The
it was
battle
the
with horses and stuff.
Oh,
That interested me far more
I think
than.
I think
it
that's
was like,
yeah, the wedding feast at Cana. It's like one of the massive things as well. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
they covered the whole wall. I was like, why is everybody looking at that when there's this behind you?
Yep. I fully appreciate that. Yep. But would Roland be interested in the art particularly, or is he just like, painting on a canvas?
Yeah, I would say probably more maybe like if there's sculptures and like actual like
Okay. Yeah.
things like that, physical things rather than a.
After a while, Dr. Messi enters the room and goes, Mason Messi, I presume. How may I help you? You had some questions about some of the pieces we have on display here?
Yes, thank you, Doctor. I spent some time here yesterday looking at the painting that is with the portraits of Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette and their son, of an unknown nobleman. Very striking portrait. Unlike the other paintings in the room in various ways. I was just curious about it.
Would you follow me, please? And he takes the three of you, and it's a familiar course down the corridors to that very room. And he goes, and he takes you to the corner where the painting was. He goes, this is the painting you were seeing. Is this your painting you're referring to?
I'm assuming it is. Is that Keeper? Is that like this? It's the same painting, I'm assuming.
Is it the same painting?
Oh, sorry, you put a picture there. I was on I was on my character sheet. Have you shared a picture, Keeper, or?
You might have to look. I thought I had.
Yep, I've got it. No. No. Yeah, it's different, isn't it? Yes, that's a much more normal painting.
I don't understand, Monsieur. This is the painting as it has always been. Is this not the painting you're referring to?
Could I do what's it called? I know it'd be insight, or is it psychology in this?
Psychology.
I want to see. Yeah, I want to see if he's lying to me or
psychology.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Nancy Sutherland rolls down all of the skills that she has very little scoring.
Yeah, like that would be that I picked some stuff up and it hit my iPad.
Nancy, Sarah, don't forget to tick off your library use roll.
Yeah.
You cannot read him at all. You just like look at him and goes, Maya and Roland, do you want to try and do psychology just to see if you can see if this guy's lying or not?
I don't think they can do better than what I did. I would be very surprised.
Psychology, please.
Yeah.
I just try. I've got a message for work. Let's.
Oh.
This.
Maya, have that tick off psychology. You deserve that. You deserve that. So,
dear me.
Maya, the one with the Maya, you don't quite understand what's going on. It appears that Major Mercy is a bit perplexed by what the doctor has just said, but from what you can see, he is being absolutely genuine. He said this painting has always been. This is always the painting that's been here. This painting has been here, was in the collection, and yeah, he's being absolutely genuine about it.
Major, are you sure you saw a really sinister-looking painting here?
I'm going to turn. Oh, sorry. Carry on, Roman. I thought you finished.
Because, I think the expert here he seems truthful. Why would he lie?
I shall turn to the doctor in proper formal British, very straight spine, very professional, and go, Doctor, when I was here yesterday, this was a very different painting. Very striking, sinister-looking eyes. And I felt, oddly enough, I spent some time, more time than I realized, staring at it. And you're telling me this is the painting that was hanging here yesterday.
This is the Unknown Noble by the Unknown Artist. This is the painting you, my assistant, told me you were interested in. This is the painting taken from the collection of Queen Marie Antoinette herself in 1789.
Is the assistant who I spoke to yesterday around? Are they working today?
Yes, he is working today. Yes, there he is. Pierre, un moment, s'il vous plaît. And it is the same assistant from yesterday.
Thank you. I asked you yesterday about a painting that was here.
Oui, monsieur. I do remember. Yes, we told you that it was closing time, and yes, I do remember that. Yes, it's the painting. Yes, I told you, rather striking, isn't it? The eyes seem to look right through you.
This is, no offense to the unknown artist, this is not a particularly striking painting. The one that was here yesterday was.
Oh, monsieur, this is the painting that was here yesterday.
I'll go over to the painting and just sort of see if she's sensing anything magical about it or anything.
Do you have any relevant skills?
I've got Cthulhu mythos or appraise, maybe.
Praise would be good if you've got some appraise. Yeah, make me an appraise roll. You can tick that one off as well.
Oh.
So first of all, Maya seems to like rolling 8s this evening. Second of all, Maya is passing all the hard stuff. Yeah, this is from what you can see, and you would have you would have known paintings mainly because you steal paintings, but you do recognize this as an example of 18th century French artwork.
Mm-hmm.
This is absolutely genuine.
Yeah. But there's no kind of odd aura about it or anything like that.
It just seems very, very normal, and you don't really know what's an odd aura. Well, it is genuine as far as you look at this and you see it is the genuine article.
Yeah. It's a very well made piece. Dated, what, 18th century?
1789, we believe. Painted at a similar time as these other paintings, and he shows you, and you see the Louis XVI, Marie Antoinette, the son, before he died.
Mm.
We do not know who this nobleman is, though. He must have been someone very dear to the Queen, because, as I say, this painting was in her private collection.
There's nothing like on the back of the canvas or anything, is there? Sometimes artists will maybe write on the back.
No, monsieur. Pierre.
Madame.
Pierre. Very well. Madame. No, Madame. And Pierre. It's Mademoiselle, it would be Mademoiselle, because, yeah. And Pierre, very, carefully, with, silk gloves on, takes the painting down and turns it around, and there's nothing on the back. It's just, the hanging for it.
Mm.
And then he lifts it back on again.
Very strange.
How are you feeling? How are you feeling, Major?
Not angry. I feel I'm being made a fool of by someone. Maybe not these people I'm talking to, but that voice I could hear last time, I'm very cross with.
I want to
While-
believe you, Major, but you're not kind of just playing it from the journey, are you?
Right, we'll and I'll say that we'll discuss this later. I expect to be backed up in public on this stuff. But I will say to the professional art people, I was I wasn't originally interested in this painting as such, but more artifacts from around this time, or pieces that were destroyed in the revolution. Would that be an area you would know about as well?
Well, there were obviously a lot of paintings destroyed at the time of the revolution, including some from this collection. These are the only surviving pieces. It was mainly like nobles, aristocracy, vistas, pictures of Versailles, some religious paintings. Is there anything in particular you were looking for? You were thinking of, Monsieur?
I'll mention that Simulacrum. Give it its full name. That I like.
Sedefkar Simulacrum, and they just look. They've never heard of it. The name means nothing to them.
Because we'd heard. This is to you, Keeper. We'd heard about Comte Fenalik having a piece, didn't we?
Yes. He was the last owner of the statue, and there may be a piece still in the area. So yes.
And do we have a name of that statue or anything like that? Or
well, I'm going to say it's a statue. The statue is called the Sedefkar Simulacrum.
That's the name. Right, I get you. Yeah. Well, how about any statues that were destroyed around this time or damaged? If you have any pieces of them,
not that we are aware of, Monsieur. Maybe there were statues. There were lots of statues destroyed around that time. We only know of some of them. However, if any information comes to light, if you would like to leave us some details, we can let you know. Are you staying in Paris for long, Monsieur?
Several days are we staying here for? Is that right? When's our Keeper? Is it when we have tickets on the train only to get?
The tickets are valid. Basically, the express can leave. The express leaves every day, and your tickets are valid for whatever journey. It's just like literally how much time you wish to spend here yourselves.
For several days, hopefully. And we're staying at the hotel. The Run, was it?
Yeah. Oui, d'accord, Monsieur. Bien sûr. If anything comes up in the next few days, I'll certainly send a word to you.
I won't tip him because he's a doctor, and I think that would be disrespectful.
He is very sad. He is very sad about this.
Well, if someone tried to tip Mercy, he'd be very upset. If possible, because I think unless you guys have got any ideas, I did want to have a try of a second of just being alone in this room, if that was possible. This is to you, Keeper. Just kind of want to try and basically,
if you wish,
try and speak
to.
To the painting or speak to the voice in the room.
If that's what you wish to do.
Can my attempt to hide away somewhere so it looks like she's left?
If you wish to do that, you can do. We'll come back to that in a moment. Roland, are you going to give the Major his moment of solitude, or are you also going to try and hide? What would you like to do?
I suppose. I don't know. I could attempt to hide, but I'm rather big, so I don't think it would work.
Okay.
I have to face off against something. I have to.
Okay, so we'll say that Roland, you probably step out of the room, and Maya, can you make me a hide roll, please?
Would that be stealth?
That would be stealth.
Oh,
Major, Major? Can you make me a spot hidden? What's your spot hidden, Major? What is your score? Not your roll. What is your score for it?
Yeah, spot hidden would be 55.
That would require a hard success to beat. So you don't see Maya as Maya secretes herself behind a drape in the window. You don't see Maya. What would you like to do?
It's very, very well hidden. And I will very quietly just sort of look at the paintings. I'm assuming the painting hasn't changed or anything weird like that.
No, it's still it's still the same paint. Nothing has changed since you entered this room.
Yeah, and I'm just going to say quietly, very quietly, Monsieur, are you still here with your diabolical laughter?
There's no answer. Nothing.
You had opinions on the death of the Dauphin yesterday.
Again, no answer.
Too scared to talk.
Maya, you see what appears to be the Major talking to himself or talking to someone, but there's nobody there.
Maya's just going to watch and remain hidden.
And then after getting no response, I will leave the room.
Okay.
And presumably the museum, if we're all done. I don't want to speak for
Very well.
the others.
And so, as the end of the day approaches, again, everybody regrouping back at the hotel to share what they've learned.
Maya's going to stay in the Louvre and just remain hidden.
Okay.
She's just curious. And she, you know how she's had the odd experience on her own. She's just wanting to put the Major's kind of hypothesis to the test.
Okay, so Major Mercy, you and Roland leave the Louvre. That's a good one to say. Leave the Louvre to head back to the hotel. Maya, you stay there for how long?
Oh, until it reopens if it shuts.
Okay. During that time, if that's what you're doing, the others are at the hotel. They obviously don't know where you are, I would say. Nothing happens during that time. You fall off to sleep.
Okay.
Nothing happens. The four of you return to the hotel. There's no Maya. Is that a problem for you?
I'm more annoyed. I mean, I'm guessing that she's trying to steal stuff.
Very well. And as you return to the hotel, the protesters get, it's almost a full-blown riot happening out in the streets. You see troopers, you see, traffic is being directed down different roads, being diverted. You see troops rushing towards students rushing toward... We've all seen, the newsreels of, riots in various places. It's that sort of thing. Students throw things at the troopers, the soldiers, trying to restrain themselves from violence, that sort of thing. And eventually you make it back to your hotel, where you update each other on the events of the day.
And we're still missing Maya.
It's still missing Maya. Yep.
If she comes back here with the Mona Lisa, I'm very upset.
Maya. Now you just put my ideas into the player's head.
It's a fair point. Are you just staking out that room, or are you actually?
Yeah, I'm just staking out that picture in that room.
Okay. As I say, nothing happens. After a somewhat restless night, you manage to grab some sleep. The sunlight streams through the window, and nothing has happened. The room is perfectly normal.
Okay.
18th of January.
Yeah.
Same question to everybody again. What are your plans for the day?
Go to the Louvre.
Okay.
Since Edward's basically he's seen Notre Dame, he's seen the opera.
He's just doing sightseeing.
Yeah, he's seen the big literary locations.
Okay. Nancy, as the sole person doing the research in this, doing the library research in this matter.
With that, the piece helps apparently. I'm going to now.
Okay, I'll move you down to number 2. You're a bit quiet again, but I did get that. You're going to the Bibliothèque Arsenal down to number 2.
Yep.
Roland?
Yep.
Where would you like to be?
I don't know. I mean, I'm happy to go back to the Louvre,
Okay.
and if needed, if not, do a trip to one of the landmarks or something, or the other landmarks.
Tell you what, Eiffel Tower, there'll be a boat trip going down the Seine. Around the Ile de la Cité and back up again.
Excuse me,
It'd be
sorry.
nice to go and see the Notre Dame and what have you from the water.
I'll put you in the river. And Major Mercy.
As Nancy was going to see military records,
Yep.
very interesting to the Major, and he will go with her.
Okay. Put you down.
And he's in a very bad mood, like because he's not happy about what happened the day before.
Oh, I wish you
Yeah,
had.
like Nancy's a little bit nervous because he's obviously furious.
But he is very British, so it's like it's a minor thing, but like it speaks volumes.
Yeah.
So, as before, we'll start with Major Mercy and Nancy Sutherland at the Bibliothèque d'Arsenal. I think with the Major's credentials, you quite easily gain access to rooms of the military records. It contains, amongst other things, the archives of the Bastille, many other 18th century records. Could you both make me library use rolls, please? And it's just a regular success this time.
Yeah, library. This is why I became a soldier.
Oh my god.
This is why you became a soldier.
Yeah, could I push that roll?
I not really, because by pushing it, essentially what you're doing is repeating the same action. So you would have spent the day here looking through the records,
I get you.
and you spend another day looking through the records. So what I will say is, you don't find it this time, but you again, like I said before, you narrow down. You narrow down your search, and I'll say if you come back here again, you will find it straight up. You won't need to make a roll for that.
Oh, Major Mercy's getting very upset.
Let's go to Roland. So, Roland, you go to the Eiffel Tower, and you've been there, haven't you? From what you said, you've been there. You know what this is. Yeah. Magnificent structure. There's some boat trips leaving the from the foot of the Eiffel Tower near one of the piers. It's a very sedate down the Seine towards the Ile de la Cité. You see the Louvre going past. You see the Musée d'Orsay on the other bank. Going to the Ile de la Cité, you see Notre Dame Cathedral. Going around it, it's very pleasant. It's the sort of thing that it calms you, it relaxes you. Roland, gain 1 sanity.
Didn't realize that was an option.
Roland, you get a sanity point.
I didn't realize if we had a nice day.
Ah, lovely.
That we could get some back.
Clears the mind.
Nice, 51 sanity. That's cool. And Woods, you make your way down to the Louvre, and as before, it's very impressive place, very impressive palace. You go through the corridors. You look at all the paintings, the Mona Lisa, the Wedding Feast at Cana, which is another huge canvas, and you find a familiar figure. You find Maya Havdat, who you haven't seen all night. What do you do? What do you say to her?
Take it. This is me. Sorry.
No. This is Edward Beard. This is Edward. This is not you.
No. No. That's fine. No, I was just like, I meant to say something.
No. This is for Edward. This is for Brian. Raphael?
Yeah,
You've just entered the Louvre and you've found Maya Havdat, who has been missing all night.
Maya.
Yeah. Oh. Morning.
Have you been here all night?
Yes.
What
But
happened?
don't tell anyone.
What happened? Did you get drunk and pass out here?
No. The Major seems to have shown a very big interest in this painting, and she points out the one. But he said it seems to have been a different painting. I was just wanting to make sure.
I see. That's definitely something to note.
But I stayed here all night and nothing seems to have happened.
I see.
I'm thinking I might explore and see if there's any other paintings by unknown artists from about the same time period.
I see. I may join you.
And the pair of you spend the day, and it's like, the Louvre is a big place. You could quite easily, spend a lot of time here. You do find some paintings. You find, as I said, the assassination of Jean-Paul Marat, who was killed in his bath by Charlotte Corday from the Revolution. You don't really find any other revolutionary pictures from 18th century France other than what you've already seen. But it's still a very, impressive. It's still a very impressive day. Edward, you're impressed by the various, cultural artifacts here, statues from Greece, statues from various other places. Maya, you're just making notes of how valuable everything is.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will say, just to save time later, Maya's planning to basically pull the same stunt again tonight.
Okay. Do you tell Edward Beatty about this?
Yeah, I'm going to just kind of whisper to him when we've got a quiet moment.
Okay, so Edward, Maya tells you that she plans to stay there tonight to, again, make sure that nothing's weird with it.
All right. I'll report in to our companions.
Very good. And the end of the day approaches as Edward, Roland, feeling very well rested and very mentally refreshed after his relaxing day on the Seine. Nancy and Major Mercy regroup at the hotel. Unless anybody has anything, and you'll fill you in on the day's events. Edward, you explain about Maya. Friday the 19th.
Just before we move on, when I've been kind of just in the Louvre, was anyone paying any particular attention to that painting at all or not?
No. What, the one of the noble? No.
Or any of the other paintings in that room?
Not really. Not that you could see. No.
Fair enough. So I go back to my hiding spot and just sit down and kind of settle in for another long night.
Okay. Friday the 19th of January dawns. Maya, once again, it's been a very uneventful night. Nothing has happened. Again, the same question to the four: Roland, Edward, Mercy, and Nancy. What would you like to do today? I'm going to say you are closing in on these clues. You are. I know it seems like it's taken ages, but you are progressing in the research. Stuff is happening.
That's good. I'm glad you're reassured because I would say, "Oh, let's just go to Milan." Let's Nancy.
Sorry, what was that?
No, I was saying, Nancy, are you going back to that library, the military? Yeah.
I'd be grateful of your assistance. I think intellectuals helped yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the arsenal. And Roland. More sightseeing? Or going with somebody today, or what would you like to do?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to do more sightseeing. I'm just trying to think what else. I mean, the problem is because he's from France. It's sort of like this is sort of a little bit boring. Well, not boring, but you know what I mean. He's sort of like twiddling his thumbs a little bit. So I suppose we could go and do some more research.
See that, yeah. I'll tell you what. There are other things you can research as other things you can try and research as well. Anything for here in particular? I'm going to say that as you're like friends, as you go around, you've seen in the notes that about Milan, and Milan has come up again. You could try and see if there's if any like traders or anything know about anything being sold, anything happening in Milan, or anything being sold in Milan.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. Edward, what would you like to do?
Maybe go to the Eiffel Tower.
Okay. So Edward goes to the Eiffel Tower, and I say Roland goes again to the shop. So just to say, Roland, in the notes that you've all been given from at the start in London, it says that a piece was in circulation in Paris just after the Great War and sold to someone from Milan. So perhaps that's something you could ask around about if any traders know anything about that. What is the best thing for that?
Yeah. Sorry, I was distracted. My insulin pump went off. What was that? Sorry.
Oh yeah. In the notes you got on the Sedefkar Simulacrum, it mentions that a piece was in circulation in Paris just after the Great War. This is a different piece, not the piece that's here, and sold to someone from Milan. So maybe that's a lead. That's a lead you could follow up, like trade with any traders. See if anybody knows anything about that.
Yeah, who actually brought it, or whether it was auctioned off.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I'm going to start with you, actually, Roland. So, you walk along the Champs-Elysees and you find like a likely-looking shop. It's like an antique shop with like various bits of statue outside. And you go and it goes, and you're both speaking in French, so you both understand each other perfectly. He goes, monsieur, welcome to my shop. Is there anything I can do to help you this fine day?
We've been looking. Well, me and some friends have been researching some artifacts and that, and it seems like part of one was maybe sold. I don't know what's the thing called. Sorry.
It's Sedefkar Simulacrum. It's a very difficult name to say, I know.
And he'll say that and be like, I think it's sort of like a European thing. Maybe the whole of Europe.
And
a bit further down.
He thinks for a moment. He says, I'm not aware of anything like that. Certainly, we don't get all transactions. We get to all the public transactions, but there are a few that go through privately, on the black market, as it were. But how's your persuade or charm? Which one are you better in?
Let's have a look. See. Persuade is 10, which isn't very good.
And your charm?
Charm is 45, so that
make me a charm roll. You want to spend luck on that? You can spend luck on that if you want to. You can always spend luck, don't forget. Or you can always push one of the two.
Let's try a little bit of luck as well.
Okay, so just just remove 10 luck points, and we'll say just remove 10 luck points from your score. Yep. So just remove 10 luck points from your score. It's the number.
Click on it.
No, just the number in red on your token on the board. Just reduce that by 10, and you can say that's a pass.
That's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Oh, yep. And as you do that, he says, I tell you what, though, because it's a private sale, it's possible that whoever bought it wasn't aware of the true value for it. It's possible that it may have been sold as something else. We do know that some very valuable statues end up as like garden ornaments, maybe, or mannequins, maybe. It's possible that what you're looking for may have also been sold as that. That's about all the help I can give you. Maybe if you are looking, if what you're looking for is in Milan, maybe it's not where you'd expect it to be. It wouldn't be in an art gallery. It would be somewhere else, somewhere you might not expect it to be.
I mean, do you have any contacts in Milan?
I do have some traders in Milan I do business with. I can give you their names and addresses, and he hands you like a list of names and addresses which I have not prepared beforehand, so you will not see them, but he hands you a list of traders that he has contact with. So just like make a note that you have that, and you can follow that up when you get to Milan.
Yep.
Cool.
So it's interesting that he said about that it might not be where you expected, although he claims not to know about.
He's aware of similar deals, rather than he's aware of, like, when things go, like, under the table, as it were. They're very often, like, not so much hidden, but used as something else, or like used for something else, or somebody doesn't quite know what it is they've got, that sort of thing. So he's familiar with like under the table deals. Probably done a few himself, but not this one.
I'll thank him for his time.
Of course. I hope you have a pleasant day.
Yeah, thank you very much. And then from there, maybe that will get his sort of wheels turning and thinking about looking at any other smaller art galleries and things. Maybe that are around not maybe in the centre, a bit further out.
Sure, yeah. Don't forget the piece. This is you believe that the piece you're looking for is in Milan, so you won't necessarily find it here unless you. Yeah, but yeah, you're on the right. You're very on the right lines. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Is maybe from there, it's sort of like he might be able to. If he finds any other smaller places, could ask the same inquiries.
Of course, yeah.
Because you never know what they might have connections to in Milan.
Edward. Eiffel Tower sightseeing, or what are you doing at the Eiffel Tower? Ryan?
Just in general, looking around, enjoying the sights, the view.
Okay, yeah. I say you can regain a sanity point as well. Again, like you're taking a day for yourself, like a day to clear your head, so you can take a sanity point back as well.
Yeah.
Maya, you're still
again, she's just kind of staring down this painting.
Oh wait, my sanity's already at 75 out of 75.
Doesn't matter. That works slightly differently. You can go up. You can go beyond that.
Okay.
So you go 76.
Yeah, Maya's just kind of sitting staring down this painting.
The painting does not move. It's not moving. It's not changed at all.
It seems like it. This has piqued her interest, and she wants to believe Mercy so much. It's just kind of like, yep. And she's used to long heists as well, so like long planning phases.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like
the
all in another day's work.
The painting is just sitting there, it's just like not doing anything. Nancy and Major Mercy, you return to the Bibliothèque Arsenal, and as I said, after yesterday's efforts, you do find you spend a day searching through some more records, and you do find something this time. You find this. Major Mercy, you can read this one out.
Okay. From the report of Captain Louis Malone, June 1789. When we arrived, the feast was still in progress. Men and women were rutting like rabid dogs. We chased them out, arresting the ones who were not able to vouch for themselves. I sent 6 men to capture the Comte, while I entered the chambers beneath. I cannot bring myself to describe what I saw there, save that we had entered a cesspool, and it was hell. God protect us. Many devices of torture lay in many chambers. One of my men found a strange Nuremberg Virgin, which was locked. Fearing to find a fresh occupant, we smashed it open, but found it to be empty. It was a dark day when noble vermin such as Fenalik did defend upon Poissy, and if God does not punish him for his sins, then the king surely will. It was with a just heart that I did give the order to burn the house and those who remained below, though the Comte did howl and scream as though his very soul was burning. We then took him to the place that would be his new home. There may he rot.
Oh.
Huh. So what's a Nuremberg Virgin?
You would probably know this. It's like we would call it an Iron Maiden.
That's what I was wondering, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
If that's what it was.
Was it a teleporter?
Mhm.
Well, what do you make of this, Miss Sutherland?
I'm interested in the location. I had assumed this would be in a palace, but it sounds not.
It would be interesting to know where this house actually was in the first place.
It does tell you in the handout. It does tell you
Because
where
it was Poissy, was it? Is that how you said?
Oh, is that what the place was?
Yeah. More interesting stuff. More stuff to find out about.
How far away is that from Paris?
Bear with 1 moment. That's not the one I want. That's not the one I want. That's the one I want. Tell me exactly. Oh, it should give me 17.5 miles.
Oh, well, that wouldn't take us very long with modern technology.
Is it somewhere that we would be able to get to by train, or would it have to be that we'd hire?
It's train or car. Up to you.
Train
It's
or
train
car.
or car. Yeah. However, I would say there is something else. There is something else to discover here.
In this library.
Oh, not in this library or in the Bibliothèque Nationale. There is something else to discover because there's another reference in that handout.
Duh.
And so, again, the group returns to the hotel.
Maya
Again,
stays at the Louvre.
Maya stays at the Louvre because that's what Maya does now. Maya lives at the Louvre, apparently.
I bet it's the stories of like the ghost at the Louvre, who's
yeah, they say it's a ghost. It's just Maya.
Yeah.
So again, you inform each other. Roland informs you all about possible, transaction in Milan. You tell them about Poissy. Saturday dawns, and
I was going to say before the next day comes around, Maya's going to, during the night when there's no security guards around, she's going to try and take down the painting.
Okay.
And she wants to flip it around to see if there's anything on the other side.
Okay. It's just a painting. It's just like a normal painting on the back.
And she's going to curse loudly and say, "Come on, you bastard, I know you're here."
Saturday, and the libraries are closed on Saturday. However, those of you who want a day off and do something else, the catacombs are open. In the south of the city.
I've been intrigued by these.
In the south.
I have had an idea. Was the Comte taken to the Bastille?
No, he wasn't.
He was taken somewhere. I remember this, but then obviously Mercy wouldn't.
This is why I'm glad that you're in this game.
Yeah.
And Brian is in this game because, this is why it ties into what we did previously. So, catacombs. Would anybody like to go to the catacombs? Says the keeper, pushing you to go to the catacombs.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Because all the libraries would be closed today.
Yeah,
is that right?
today and tomorrow all the libraries are closed. So yeah, so it's basically a free day off for you.
Catacombs. Yeah.
Okay, Maya, are you going to the catacombs or are you staying in the museum?
I think Maya is going to just stay in the museum at this point. Just basically kind of sat down and just doing it out of pure stubbornness now.
Okay, so you get a bus down to Dunfort Rochereau, Place de Dunfort Rochereau, and the catacombs. So when you go into the catacombs, there's no guided tour, and it's recommended that you bring your own torches, or if you don't have a torches, there's a place nearby where you can buy torches. It's a winding staircase down from the street level, down below the streets, and the first 20 minutes as you're down there, it's just like tunnels. This used to be the quarry where they dug out a lot of stone for a lot of the cathedrals. And as you walk down the tunnels, you see various like street names along the side and various like carvings of dates. And then you enter a particular antechamber, and there's two black obelisks, and there's a gateway, and above the gateway, you see the words. See the words when I get the thingy up. You see the words "Arrête, c'est ici l'empire de la mort." Stop. This is the empire of the dead. And as you go into the catacombs, there are bones lining the walls on each side. There are skulls in amongst all the bones. Every so often you see plaques indicating which graveyard these came from, because what happened was when the graveyard started to overflow, they needed somewhere to put all the bones to clear rooms, so they put them all down in the old quarries, and that's what this is. So you go along. There's like lit by various like lamps along the way. It's very quiet down here. You're literally surrounded by the dead. It's all very creepy, and take it from me, it is somewhat disturbing and eerie. So I would like I would like Edward, Roland, Major Mercy, and Nancy to make me sanity rolls.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, thank God.
And for Roland,
What am I rolling for?
your sanity.
Okay.
So for a success, it's 0. For a failure, it's just 1 point of sanity. You lose 1 point of sanity.
1 point that I earned.
Yep. As it is like very disturbing down there. It's like, there's like cool air, there's like no air movement, but it's quite cool down there, and there's skulls everywhere, like some in cross shapes, circular shapes. Every so often you see like big mass gravestones. In fact, there is a map of, I do have a map of this, actually, I can just bring us to quickly. Where are we? I'll probably put you on a black screen, so I just need to remember where your characters are. I'm going to take the dynamic lighting off. That's a good way of doing it. Off. There we are. So you come in, the red line marks out the footpath that has been like drawn in the sand for like visitors. The side passages you see are gated off. You can see like down there is just like more rows and rows of bones and skulls. As you get like most of the way through, say to about here, there's like a passageway, and it looks like they're not stacked neatly, but they're mounted skulls, and you hear a snuffling noise. And as you look down the passage, you see a figure crouched on the ground.
Hello?
As you point your torches at it, the figure suddenly brings up its head, looks around, and it makes as if it's going to dart off into the darkness, but then it stops and starts sniffing.
Oh,
and then it turns around and bounds and lopes its way towards the gate where you are. And as it gets closer and your torches are fully on its face, you see that its flesh is grey, starting to shrivel, starting to fall off a bit. You see its mouth is distended, so it looks more like a dog's mouth than a human's mouth. Its eyes are like piercing yellow, and it comes up to you. You see it's like you can see like the mist of its breath through its teeth as it comes closer to the grate. Again, I need everybody to make me a sanity roll, please, as you see this coming towards you.
Jesus.
So
Successful ones.
this time it's 1 for a success, and it's 1d6 for a failure. So Nancy, please roll me 1d6 and lose that much sanity.
I'm gonna say, let me re-roll because that hadn't got my point of sanity taken off.
It's all right. You would have been 22 anyway, so it would be 22 out of 50. You would still be in it. So yeah. So you're now down to 4. So it's 1 point off for a success, 1d6 for a failure. So yeah, Nancy, roll me 1d6.
2.
2 sanity. Okay. And as it's there, and you're kind of taken aback at this, and it's there like through the windows, it sniffs, and Edward, it seems to be sniffing you. And it looks at you, and it opens its mouth, and it's like this whispering, wheezy voice that sounds like it hasn't been heard for centuries. It goes, Howley? James Howley?
How do you know the name of my ancestor?
And then it looks around, and it's like something startles it, and then it just like bounds away into the darkness again. Make me an education roll, Edward.
Okay.
It's at the top of it's in the top set of stats if you need it. Right, I'm going to ask Brian, the player. Do you know who this is?
Yeah. Back in the Reign of Terror, we met this thing here in the catacombs. James Howley and Richard's character. I'm drawing a blank on the name. Sorry.
I'm drawing a blank on the name as well. Don't worry.
Yeah. James Howley, Edward's ancestor, met them, but I can't really remember a lot.
So you got most of it. Richard, do you have anything to add? You want to able to add to that, or are you about the same?
It helped us, didn't it? Find some places we needed to get to. If I remember rightly.
You're mostly there. So yeah, Edward, as this creature has bounded up to you and said James Howley, it's like memories suddenly spark in your mind. You recall as a child reading this battered journal from your ancestor, and it's the sort of thing that would appeal to a young boy. But as the adults in the family, considered it to be like a complete nonsense. But as I say, it's the sort of thing that would appeal to a young boy. And you read of this creature they met. This creature's name was Guillaume. And
Can I get that?
I'll write it down.
Sorry.
I'll write it down for you. I believe this is how you spell it.
The camera has hands.
In a momento. Oh no, there is no extra I in it. There we are.
Guillaume.
Yep. And as you say, this creature did help James Howley and I want to say Baban.
That was certainly one of them.
Etienne Baban, I believe it was.
Hmm.
He helps them in their fight against someone, and as this memory comes into you, you also remember something else. You remember another name, Dr. Lucien Rigaud. And I'm going to give you this handout for free, actually. Since you remembered this, I'm going to give you this handout for free. So it's as if you found this in the library, but this is Edward. This is what you remember from reading your ancestors' journals. So, would you like to read this one out, please, Edward?
Yeah. The Journal of Lucien Rigaud, June 1789. 2 nights later, the soldiers of the king went in force to the Comte's villa to halt his excesses. After they burned his mansion, they brought the Comte before the king's deputy, who then ordered me present to deliver an opinion. Comte Fenalik was screaming and roiling. It was easy to see that he was mad. As a nobleman and a madman, he could not be executed, so I suggested that a merciful king might place Fenalik in Charenton. The king's deputy apparently decided upon this course, and arranged that Fenalik be taken lair. Later the king expressed his approval, and the disposition was made permanent. The last I learned of him was that he had been locked away in a cellar, because he had attacked other patients.
And I assume you tell the others of this that you've remembered.
Mm-hmm.
Could everybody else? What would be a good one for this? Make me. Let's go for spot hidden. Everybody else, make me a spot hidden roll. In fact, everybody. Edward, Roland, Nancy, and Major Mercy, make me spot hidden rolls, please. Don't forget to tick these off if you pass. Okay. That name, as Edward tells you about this name, Carenton, you recall something you read in the paper, maybe yesterday, maybe the day before. Somebody like to read me this one out, please? Who hasn't read yet? Roland, would you like to read this one out, please? I don't think you've read anything out yet. Would you like to read this one out for me, please?
Yeah, I could try with my voice.
Yeah.
We mourn the loss of our esteemed director, Dr.
Etienne.
I'm not going to be able to pronounce this.
It's Etienne Delplace. Etienne Delplace.
Delplace. The man of the highest professional standards and a true pioneer in the field of neurology. His loss by a tragic accident comes to a great blow. We at the hospital extend our heartfelt sympathies to his family, hoping that they may overcome their grief in time. Mr. Delplace will be missed by the Carrington community, Paris at large, and the glorious nation of France. A civilized man everywhere. Dr. Francois Lecroix, acting director.
And you read that you recall reading that in the paper a couple of days ago. It just like glanced your eye, you didn't think much of it, but the reference that Edward made to Carenton as the place where Fenalik was taken suddenly sparks this in your mind. And
So, it Carrington must be a hospital in, like, Paris?
Sounds like
I mean,
it.
we did notice one on the map when we arrived, didn't we?
Carenton, you saw on the map, Carenton would be the southwest of Paris. The southeast of Paris. I can do directions. Southeast of Paris, along the Seine, just outside the main city.
I mean, should we chase this peculiar fellow who just came out of nowhere?
It's a
Are we
bard.
able to, because he was behind a grate, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's a bard grate. Yeah.
Without pulling the grate off the wall.
I mean, I'm worried about the guy, if nothing else. It doesn't seem to be doing too well.
He's long gone into the darkness.
This is what happens when you don't have guided tours. People wander off and become frightful ghouls. Was that thing you shared us about the hospital? Was that the thing that we hadn't picked up on yet?
The two things I hadn't picked up on yet was the Journal of Lucien Rigaud, and this was this obituary here. These are the other two things that you would have had to find in the library. But Edward has kind of saved you the effort there. So, with that, you have some useful leads to follow up. What would you like? What would you like to do?
Yeah.
Well, there's this Poissy place, and there's this hospital.
What time of day are we at now?
I'm going to say this is probably mid-afternoon. Time taken for you to get down to here, and as far as you go, it's probably like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock.
I mean, I would like. I'm torn of what I want Mercy to do, but we could go to this hospital today.
I would certainly think that we go to the area at least. And scout out of what is there. Is it just the hospital? Is it grounds? First and foremost.
So
I think that's a good idea.
I'm going to bring us back to. I'll bring us back to the map. Actually, that'd be a useful thing, so I can see things a bit better. So just to say, the hospital, the Carrington Asylum, is down here. And you are here.
I'm sure we can get a taxi.
Are you sure you want to leave Maya back at the museum?
Maya made her bed. She can lie in a museum in it.
Maya.
I don't think she's coming out, to be honest.
I mean, have they shut up for the weekend? Like, she's staying there till Monday now.
Also, I get this is a game, but like, does Maya not stink by now?
Possibly a bit.
And be exhausted. Like, if this was D&D, you'd be on like.
Yeah, you are probably starting to push your luck. If you stay there any longer, the chance of discovery do get bigger.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm still heading in a taxi over to at least the area of where this asylum is.
Okay.
Yep. I would definitely go with it.
Okay, so 1 moment, please. So the asylum itself, as you head over there in your taxi, it's a very imposing building. It's still in operation. There is a sign outside saying Carrington Asylum in French and in English. I don't actually have a picture of here. It's still in use. There are still lights on. There are still like ambulances outside. Yeah, it still very much still exists.
Is it sort of somewhere that you could just walk up to, or is it a gated asylum, or?
I'm going to say it's gated. There's a courtyard leading to the main building.
Is this the sort of hospital where it's like where it looks after like very dangerous people, or is it, does it range from people who are like delusional to, absolute maniacs who kill people? But it's hard because I know it's the 1920s, so it probably wasn't the best time for mental health provision.
It does seem to be the sort of place where like criminally insane people are kept.
That's the expression I couldn't criminally insane.
Yeah. And then if you get close enough, you probably hear like screams coming from various windows and things.
Oh dear. Yeah.
That'd be a lovely mix of the people who are actually insane and like people who are there because they like divorced their husband or something.
Yeah, a woman who spoke out too much.
Yeah.
Which I mean corrected someone once. Like yeah.
There was a list once of like things that you were sent to the sanatorium for, and there was like some really like ridiculous ones. Like
I've seen that.
Literally, like being ginger.
I'm sure. I don't think that was by 1920s though. That's the thing. I think
I was going to say I found a list for what was the local asylum in Morpeth where I work for like the 1930s, where two of the people were literally there because they wanted to leave their husband. It was before World War II, but I was like, this is mad.
Oh wow, that's impressive.
There was definitely reported, because it was a big thing in the 70s where they sort of tried to modernise all the stuff in Britain. And when they were looking at the people who'd been in some of these places for decades, they did find out like there was no, they weren't mentally ill. There was just a thing of they were a difficult person, often women, or they'd had a baby out of marriage, but like that would have been like 30 years ago. And so like,
Okay, so so it seems like this would be this. Yeah, so I think this place more like caters to the well, we'll say it caters. It's like Arkham Asylum. It's like the criminally insane in this case.
Yeah, better security, hopefully.
Yeah. So as you are here, what would you like to do?
Now, why would someone want to go into an asylum? Like, what's a reason a person would be like, let's go into an asylum?
I'm absolutely going to ring the bell and try and speak to someone and state the exact reason that we were there, because we've been doing some research and understand that Comte
Fenalik.
Comte Fenalik was held here was an expression of love. I want also absolutely right. Yeah.
Go with that.
Yeah, that's what I'm for. Unless you just want to break in.
I don't want to break into an asylum. That's going to end poorly.
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah.
So you knock on the door, and it's like the archetypical, like hollow sounding knock. And eventually, the door is opened by someone in a white outfit. It looks like one of the orderlies. Oui. What do you want? Very unfriendly.
I give my lovely prepared speech in French about we are researching kind of family with that he was kept here. We wanted to have information.
You wish to search about a patient of the asylum? An old patient? Wait a moment, please. And the door shuts again. A few moments later, the door opens again, and this time it's someone with he has a name. He has like a name badge. It's Doctor. What's his name? Doctor Leroux. I should have said it. Dr. Francois Leroux, acting director.
Yeah.
Mesdames, Monsieur. I understand you wish to consult our record concerning one of our old patients. Do you have a name for this patient?
The
We
Comte
do.
Fenalik.
Yeah, he is not a recent patient. We believe he was kept here from 1789.
Of course. You sure you understand? I cannot allow you to look at more sensitive records, but if there is something to be found, I'm happy for you to see it, and he's happy to let you come in, take you. And again, the screamings that you heard outside are more pronounced inside. The walls, it's like the floor is very clinical, very clean. The walls are white, and he brings you into a small side room. Smell of musty paper. He shuts the door, and the sound of the screams is lessened. And it's the records room. Goes, our records are here, sorted by dates. If you know what dates you are interested in, it may make your search easier.
It's 1789, wasn't it? We were starting then, going forward.
Yeah.
Nancy, I don't know if you want to start looking. I was going to ask this guy some questions.
Okay, so we start with Nancy. Make me a roll, and I'll apply it to your which is lower, your library use or your French.
French is lower.
Roll against your French. Fair enough. Mark off your French. So you search through, and it's all in French, and some of it is handwritten and can be very tricky to make out. But the only reference you find is a reference to the Count being admitted to the asylum. There's no further mention of him.
Oh, he's still bloody here.
There's not even any death notice of it.
Mm.
There's the only mention of him is the name to say he was admitted to the asylum, along with the admitting doctor, Dr. Lucien Rigaud, is a signature. But this is the only record you have of the name Fenalik. Major Mercy, you wish to speak to the Dr. LaRue?
Yes. Doctor, we were seeing in the records when we were researching Comte Fenalik that he was perhaps put into the cellar of the hospital. Do you have a cellar where I can't imagine patients are kept there now unless it's been renovated, but
not to my knowledge that we have a cellar. Of course, I am only recently come here. I'm certainly not aware of anybody being kept downstairs. As far as I can see, all our patients are accounted for.
Which of your patients has been here the longest?
I'm sure, Monsieur, you must understand that I cannot just give you that information. Patient confidentiality is still a thing that we hold sacred.
Has Nancy? Have you informed us about what you've found, or at least?
Yeah.
So, is there a reason there's no paperwork about the Comte's release or death, or?
I cannot speak to. We only began proper bookkeeping only in the last century, only in the last 50 years or so. Any records before that are somewhat spotty. Regrettably, some patients' records have disappeared for various reasons. Maybe this Fenalik you are looking for was one of those. Maybe the patient died before bookkeeping began properly.
How emotional.
And Keeper, you were saying he wasn't aware of a cellar.
He wasn't aware of a cellar himself. However, while Nancy has been looking through the records and Major Mercy is engaging Dr. LaRue in conversation, Edward Beatty and Roland, make me spot hidden rolls. And one from Roland.
Oh God. Did I even roll?
You did. You got a success. So you can tick that one off.
Okay.
Dean Chu, if you're there, are you there?
Yeah. I'm here.
Yes, spot hidden, please. Spot hidden roll from you, please. As your companions are talking to the doctor, you have the chance to look around a bit, so make me a spot hidden roll.
I've sent it.
Oh dear. Okay, 66. So you failed. So Edward, as you're looking around, as the others are talking to the doctor, you look around at the office of records and you see like a stack of papers, and this is a newer stack of papers than everything else. Everything else is like yellowed and dusty with age, but this is a new stack of papers. And partway down this stack, something catches your eye. This catches your eye. Would you like to read it?
The Journal of Dr. Delplace excerpts. Entry: a dismaying event last night. A male nurse, one Grammar of 4th Ward, entered the cellars without authorization, and thereafter, suffering a painful wound to his right arm, collapsed. Another nurse, P. Mandarin, investigated Grimmar's absence, and after some time discovered Grimmar on the floor in severe shock. Treatment was prompt and efficacious, but upon regaining consciousness this morning, Grimmar began raving to me about being attacked by a dead man. For the moment, I have placed him in room 13 and notified his landlady of his indisposition. Alas, with Grimmar was another man, one unknown to this institution, in tragic physical condition. Many grave questions must be answered. Entry: I began to question Grimmar about the stranger. Is he a patient? What is his name? How long had Grimmar kept him down there? Had Grimmar kept the stranger there for a long time? Long enough that the mortar sealing the room had cured to such condition? Had he given him nourishment? How had he survived? I am moving the stranger to my private ring, for the moment, treating the man as an inconsequential derelict, until more evidence is found. Entry: even in a fresh bed, the stranger's appearance is horrifying. Given small amounts of broth, he merely regurgitates it. He takes no nourishment, yet lives in a catatonic state. Would electric shock revive him? Entry: after several applications, the stranger woke, but so weakened that he could not move. He whined and begged, indifferent, in very old forms of Greek and Latin, tales of cities crumbling, and of other darker things. It was a mystery, man. It is almost easier to think we have tapped some form of group mind or racial memory. After a few inconsequential notations, the journal ends. All entries quoted are dated just before Delplace's death.
And for the moment, you don't have the chance to tell the others about what you found, as they are still talking to the doctor. But at length, the doctor says, "I'm sorry, I must ask if you would leave now. It is time for our curfew. So I must ask you to leave. I hope you have found what you are looking for."
Mm-hmm. Yes, of course.
And with that, the same orderly who answered the door to you first appears and escorts you all outside the asylum. And as the door closes behind you, this is Edward. This is you can show the others the piece of the journal that you found.
All right.
So the others, Roland, Major Mercy, and Nancy, you would now be told about this journal that Edward has found.
Well, we have to get in and speak to this person. As impossible as it seems, it sounds like it is Fenalik.
It seems a sensible plan.
Do you reckon we could bribe one of the staff, one of the orderlies, just to let us in?
Or does anyone want to say they have a missing French relative? That's
Well,
nothing of her.
Maya hasn't been seen. I mean, they've seen all of us.
Gonna say, 'cause they would have seen us in there now, wouldn't they?
Mm.
Somebody would.
So maybe it's been very useful that Maya has been locking herself in the Louvre Museum. But yeah, I think that's a good idea to sort of say like I'm a missing person type thing.
The other thing, I brought up that list of reasons that you'd be let into an asylum, and funnily enough, one of them was like charity worker kind of thing.
Just charity worker.
What was it? Salvation Army.
But that was the reason. Like
Yeah, it was one of the reasons.
All right.
The Salvation Army. No, so I was
Yeah.
just thinking, rather than necessarily go in like and have to make up one person, could always play the angle of you're going in to, and charity.
Try and get what?
Yeah, you're there to bless and sort out everyone, just one person.
Like to go into to volunteer in some
Yeah.
charitable capacity.
Yeah.
Well, again, it'd have to be Maya because I think.
That's what I mean. I mean, once she's let in, if she's there in a volunteer capacity, she'd be sort of let in. No. Rather than having to lie and sort of be taken to one person, you'd probably have a little bit more free reign if you're a volunteer.
I don't know. You might have to like. You might have to be there like a week to get, like sufficient trust.
Yeah.
And that's going to be an odd week. We need you to essentially become a mental health practitioner for a week.
Or maybe she could go in the back door.
I like the idea of someone saying they're looking for a relative, like a missing person, because that's what you do, isn't it? People say like check hospitals in case there's someone who's came in, unconscious or
being hit in the head by a horse.
Yeah.
That was one of the reasons.
Yep. I'm sure that was like every other day. They're hit in the head by a horse cases.
Yeah.
Or even we now have the name of a patient in the hospital.
Yes. You could say,
Nurse.
yeah,
Family member,
Guillemot.
Yeah.
What we could say, like, where someone's a family member of Guillemot, and then go from there. No, that's not a bad idea.
Again, it would have to be Maya.
Yeah.
As you're discussing this, I think this is time to wrap up this session. As you ponder how you're going to gain access to the Carrington Asylum, which is something that surely no sane person would want to do.
Mm.
So, as we bring this session to a close at the end of the day on the 20th of January 1923, let's go around the table again and ask what people's favourite moments were. Again, same order. Let's start with Steam Chew. What was your favourite moment of this session? Steam Chew? Are you there?
Sorry, I went on mute to blow my nose.
Yeah.
I said I like going into the catacombs and being like a paranormal kind of thing, because it means that we've all sort of seen and had that experience now. And the thing, as this party, obviously, as the
Yeah, whatever
we've seen a few things, whereas this has been like the first thing we've all seen.
Sarah.
I love that we now have like to try and work out how to get into an insane asylum in 1920s Paris. That's just amazing.
Yeah.
One Winged Angel. Can't hear you if you're speaking. Sorry, didn't catch that.
Creepy painting.
Creepy painting. which Maya didn't see.
Yes. She was well determined, though.
Yeah.
I
Richard?
saw a lot of the other painting. The whole business in the Louvre. I wasn't happy about that. Like, I wasn't happy, and Major Mercy wasn't happy, because I was like, no, I'm not having this. This painting was different. And if it was a different time, I could have had a camera and I could have proven it.
If you had a camera, it would have just turned out to be like the other painting.
I probably would have, yeah.
Brian.
Grillam. Seeing Grillam, I was not expecting that.
That's my favorite. I think my favorite thing was like part of the reason I wanted to run this, especially with you two, was all of these callbacks to the previous game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, this is where they all came out. Like, you know, Richard, you obviously caught on immediately to the fact, like, you know, staring down the paintings, like what you did to the Count in the last game, and Brian, like, you know, you obviously recognise the creature in the catacombs. I just love that scene. Like, you know, that finally paying off after all this time. Very nearly a year to the day, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. With that, the Investigator's journey will continue next time.